The interference wave. It is in our reality right now. It's not the first, won't be the last. You've gone through them. You will still go through them. Where do they come from? What are they? How do you navigate this? How do you feel when it is in your reality? Okay, we're going to cover a lot in today's conversation about the interference wave. This is a disturbance in the field. So if you feel, a little bit off, a little bit antsy, a little bit edgy, something's not right, there's that unsettled feeling. And look, it can be extreme or it can be subtle. Some people at the extreme length of this, and we're going to talk about why they feel this, they feel like they're being watched, or they feel, especially in sleep time, they feel a little bit of that edgy kind of energy. Maybe there's an entity in the room. Maybe there's something dark around them. That's the extreme version. And then the more subtle version is just that inner, something's not okay. Something feels a bit off in my reality. That is an interference wave. I've never spoken to you before about interference waves. It's never been appropriate because where we were in our consciousness was a place of, subservience, external reality creates me. I don't create my reality. That's the level of consciousness we were playing at. No matter what your head knows, your consciousness cannot be faked. It's not something that you can pretend away. Your level of consciousness speaks the loudest truth to the universe, and it would have communicated maybe even 8 months ago, 6 months ago, that we're not quite ready for this communication, but bam, I have got this jab, like an elbow in the side that says, Carrie, this is it, baby. You've got to share this information today. So here I am telling you about what often happens, and it's called an interference wave. It happens at a specific time, though, and that is when we are at this upward trajectory in our growth. The moment we start shifting the timeline into higher and higher frequencies, places we haven't been before. These are called points of no return. As soon as we hit a point of no return, meaning we've ascended too much in consciousness to go back to an old level of subservience or to conform to an old program of the false matrix. Once we are on the edge of reaching that, that's when the interference waves come. So where do they come from? They used to come from the broadcast signal of the false matrix. And I won't go too deeply into it. I've got a video on my channel explaining more about the galactic wars and the broadcast signal of the false matrix and how those signals were coming from outside of our planet, beyond our atmosphere, inside the solar system. All of these frequencies were being bombarded into our energetic field, where they come from now, because that's all been taken down. That's what that video is about. From about 2012, those fields were cleared, which meant not that the false matrix was gone, but rather that the broadcast signal from the outside was no longer operational. And that meant that we at the inner level had become responsible custodians of our own inner reality, because that's where the remnants of the false matrix existed, in the programs that we now had taken into and absorbed into our identity, our sense of self. So it was the dismantling from the inner reality that we could do. And that's why the galactics came in and supported humanity at the level that they did in 2012, because that was going to hinder our ascension. That continual bombardment from outside of our atmosphere was something that we couldn't reach. We couldn't get there to switch it off. We couldn't even understand what was happening. So the galactics came in to support us, to level the playing field, you could say, and to put in our reach what we could do. So that's where the broadcast signal was coming from. Because the powers that were, that means the powers that were running the false matrix, these are the archons and all of those affiliated with them, because they realize we still want this thing, we still want this false matrix, but damn it, it doesn't work the way it used to. So now we've got to come up with clever ways to try to impregnate the collective consciousness with a disturbance wave or an interference wave, so that we can try to thwart that upwelling of energy that is moving humanity to that higher and higher timeline. So do you see that it's a little bit of a kudos to you? It's a little bit of a, look at how powerful I am, damn it. Look at the concerted effort taking place to try to derail You, the individual, us, the collective, ascending human beings of planet Earth. We're shifting the timeline, you guys. It's just that simple. We're shifting it to a place that is so beyond the reach of darkness now that these interference waves have less and less impact, especially if you have the information that I'm sharing with you today. So feel free to share this video with a friend or whoever you think can really benefit from this information. So, the coordinated effort to create a discordant energy on the planet right now is coming from on the planet. Because remember, it can't come from outside. So it's got to come from on planet, but it's not coming from human beings. It's coming from the entities, those that were discharged from the astral realm, those displaced entities. And by the way, that's another video. I actually want to remake it. It's called The Collapse of the Astral and Underworld. So you can watch the old version, but I hope to update it in the upcoming weeks, where basically I talk about, and this is just the bullet point form, the collapse of the astral and underworld into our realm. So what we have right now are all of those entities. My husband has a gorgeous word for it. He calls them cosmic wildlife. All that cosmic wildlife that was once contained in its own realm is pretty much inside our own field right now. And the reason why that happens is because before ascension, everything must pass through the eye of the needle. This means we must come to a convergence point where all realities collapse into one field. We'll talk about that in more videos, but that's essentially the bullet point form of where this attack, I suppose you could call it a psychic attack, an energetic attack. It's just that you're not as prone to taking it into your field, because that's what it's going to look for, that interference wave. It's going to look for hooks in your field that it can hook into. And as I share this information with you, I truly hope and I truly pray that you're going to get this underlying message, and that is, oh my God, I'm so powerful now. Look at me. I have power. I'm not subservient to these external interference waves anymore. I can start to generate my reality from the light that I am. And I'm going to share techniques with you as we go. I've got some questions I've jotted down that I believe are really going to support you in working through the energy that we are in right now. By the way, as much as we're in an interference wave right now, do not think this is only valid for today. This is valid for any time that you are in that unsettled, disturbed kind of place. How does it show up in your reality? Like, what does it look like when you are in a interference wave? You just feel totally unsettled. It is literally that it's a disturbance in the field and you don't know where it's coming from. And of course, because you're human and you're conditioned to think like this, you're going to go, oh, it must be me. I must be stuffing up again, must be messing up again. Damn it, there's my unhealed stuff again. What if all that is coming up doesn't necessarily originate with you? It's just being stirred up. So it's the unhealed stuff inside of you. Those are the hooks that disturbance wave is looking for. But in and of itself, this is not an organic, natural occurrence. This is an inserted wave inside our reality. So think of it as static in the background of our reality. Now, I said you can feel disturbance, you can feel unsettled. At the extreme version, you might feel this feeling like something's watching me, something's infiltrating my dream space, or even my waking space. I'm feeling like I'm being watched, or I'm feeling like I am just, in this very uncomfortable place in my reality. And a more subtle version is nothing's going right. I can't get anything to come together. So you could be looping into self-doubt. You could be just in a density, in a very unsettled, disturbed space. However it shows up for you, understand that this is that static in the background. But what's in the foreground is you, is your light, is that which you are now beginning to come online to. We've taken many years to get here. This has been an operation in earnest since 2012, although it was taking place way before then. And every year and every month and every day and every hour, you're receiving more cosmic light codes, DNA upgrades. So much is going on. So much is being catalyzed from within you that now when this disturbance wave comes, a lot of you guys are going to go, what was that? Didn't really affect me. How do you work with it though? Because I think a question a lot of people are going to ask is, how do I know if this is mine? As in, how do I know if this is my intuition perhaps guiding me? Maybe I'm feeling very unsettled. I'm getting all these messages. I'm not in a good place. Maybe this is my intuition guiding me to go somewhere else, do something, see something, or maybe this is just a disturbance wave that I actually need to transmute. So how do you know which it is? And the answer is, well, it's simple. If something comes from your intuition, it comes almost like this clarion call. It comes with clarity. It's like this bell. Ding. And there's calm. That's intuition. That's how intuition speaks. It speaks to you normally in one word, or better yet, one feeling, one idea. Clarity. And how does a disturbance wave speak to you? Oh, God. Confusion, in and out and up and down. Your thoughts are everywhere, all over the place, all at once. Should I, shouldn't I? It could be this, it could be that. You're talking yourself into stories, out of stories, up and down. That's an interference wave. So it's actually really easy. You don't need to be confused about this. But let's get to something that I know is so vital for you. How do you really work with this? Alchemy is the answer. And I've created an online community called the Plasma Light Tribe. I know so many of you share that sacred space with me in the PLT. And the Plasma Light Tribe is a place where I really take you through the energetic practice of alchemy. I'm going to share it with you right now, though, so that you are empowered enough after listening to this that you can say, oh, I've got the nuts and the bolts. I don't necessarily have the full depth of it, but I got the nuts and the bolts, and I can certainly work with what Kerry is sharing. So you decide how deep you want to go. When you have darkness, you're in the presence of that interference wave, you acknowledge it, number one. So that's really important. You do not deny, push away, resist, avoid, suppress that uncomfortable disturbance that you're feeling. Assuming, of course, that you are feeling it. Remember, a lot of you can just be anchoring in light right now, and for that, you're doing a beautiful job. If you are aware of the disturbance, you only acknowledge it. And here's something profound. What happens to darkness when you acknowledge from the seat, oh, this is important, from the seat of sacred neutrality? What happens to darkness when you look at it almost in a sense, you're going, oh, look, there's darkness. What happens to darkness? It dissolves. What happens to light when you do exactly the same thing? What is light? Well, good God, it's everything that is of the natural organic universe from God, which means it's connection, and it is beauty, and it is expansion, and it is growth, and it is love, and it is divinity, and it is that sense of goodness in the world. So what happens when you become aware of that? It expands. Especially, and this is the vital key, sacred neutrality. In the PLT, we have a container called the 0 Point Zone. It's like a little online meditation room. You click into the 0 Point Zone and you learn that skill. It is something that you need to practice, that skill of sacred neutrality. But boy, when you get it, you really have the raw essence of your alchemical magic. That is the number one. There are many, but that is the number one tool, that sacred neutrality. So you begin to diffuse that darkness. Its hooks suddenly go as if they're fizzling out of your reality. There's nothing to hook into when you simply acknowledge from the sacred neutrality two things, not one, two things. Oh, look, there's darkness. Oh, look, there's light. You have to also observe that which is light and bring that in. Now, when I say bring it in, there's one of two ways. You can bring it in like, hey, God, come be with me, or whatever your words are. Hey, universe, hey, angels, hey, dolphins, hey, guides, hey, whatever it is. Hey, light, come be with me. And it can also be, hey, spark of light on the inside of me. It's time to shine, baby, shine. It's time to ripple, time to radiate. And again, this is the nature of light. It ripples, it radiates, it dissolves the darkness. So what happens to that disturbance wave is it begins to peter out, it begins to lose potency. So the work that you do obviously is for you, but look at the impact that it has every time the disturbance wave comes up against a light worker or a being of consciousness. It's like little parts and pieces of it get diffused, pulled apart, it loses efficacy, and the next person who comes in line of that disturbance wave may not necessarily feel the disturbance or the interference to the degree that they once would have. How long will it last? Isn't that a question that I think a lot of you would ask? How long is this disturbance wave going to be around for? That's a question of disempowerment. Because why? What it means is I'm going to be okay when this disturbance wave goes away. No, you're okay right now. You're in the presence of the disturbance wave. Even as we're speaking, you guys, I'm in the presence of it. And it's petered out because what I'm doing right now is rippling light and showing you that you can do exactly the same. This means that you don't have to wait for the external world to become a better place before you feel better inside of you. You don't have to wait for the external reality to permission you to more happiness, to more peace. So do you understand that you can apply this to any time that you have, for example, a psychic attack, or every time that you feel that disturbance in your field? You shine, baby, shine. You radiate that light. Yes, there are, well over 200 live calls recorded sitting in the PLT library. Every single one of them is an element, an aspect of the divine mastery that I'm sharing here with you called alchemy. This is what we human beings have come here to do. You decide. You decide how deep you want to take that journey. A question that maybe will support you in working through this to get at the practical level. See, I don't want you to walk away from this conversation with head-based information. I want you to start to embody and integrate the power that I'm talking about here. So let's start there. Can you see the power? Can you see the power that you are? Oh my God, the majesty, the magnificence, the beauty of being at that place in our timeline, that these attempts are being made to thwart our ascension. Look at how they're petering out. But it's kind of like a acknowledgement of your creative power, that these disturbance waves are coming in, even though they're coming in through different delivery systems, right? Remember, it was once coming in from outside of the planet, now it's coming from on planet. Even though it's coming from outside of the usual delivery system, it's still coming in because of your power. So it's an acknowledgement. And an acknowledgement isn't this. It's not a thought. It's not a word. It's a feeling. So can you drop into that feeling? Can you allow yourself to actually acknowledge, damn it, I'm powerful, baby. Don't be afraid to really see the beauty of what you're doing right now. Here's another question, and it's one of the most simple, and that is, can you feel the disturbance wave? This is only an acknowledgement. So this is where I want you to sink into your field, sink into your being, sink into your body. Am I aware of it? Can I feel it? Does it register for me? Remember, it doesn't have to. But if you can, how powerful are you now? Look, there's you acknowledging. Can you do that from the seat of sacred neutrality? That's you diffusing. How gorgeous. Now, equally, can you acknowledge the light? Even the light you can't feel, even the light you can't see. It exists because it's your nature. It's who you are. It's a part of you. Love exists every moment of the day, even when you yourself aren't acknowledging it. But what if you take the moment to acknowledge it? And what if together we take this opportunity to just spend, I don't know, a couple moments, just as we end this call, couple moments together doing a real life activation of love. And I'm going to say these supremely simple words. The words are, from my heart, from my radiant, light-filled heart, all the way, baby, all the way to yours. So much love, such outpouring of love. This is where you get to practice receptivity. It's a breath, it's a yes, it's a permission, it's an acknowledgement that your heart expands to feel the love that is. Because you were born to do this. You were born to let love in. You were born to radiate and resonate to the frequency of love. And all of these disturbance waves, all that they've ever done is temporarily distract you from the love that you are. That's all. That's all they can ever do. How beautiful is it to meet yourself in the moment where love is, not where love needs to be, should be, but where it is. That's what this moment is packed with, infused with, imbued with. And you're here with me now inside this moment together. We are just immersed in love. All of that static, that interference wave, it just dissolves as you evolve into the light that you are. I'll speak to you really soon. I'm loving your comments. Keep sharing them. Thank you, you guys. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye for now.